Everyone. Today we're going to talk about the difference between natural, melodic, and harmonic minor. I've talked about these in the past, but I keep getting asked this, I think because I get a lot of new subscribers that wonder the difference when I'm talking about these. I just did a video on the melodic minor yesterday, and people want to know, well, what is the difference between melodic minor and harmonic minor, and doesn't the melodic minor scale change on the way down? So yes, it does in classical music when you're learning how to play melodic minor scales, if you're taking piano lessons as a kid or if you're in college. When you're learning scales on the piano, you will, with the melodic minor scale, for example, you play melodic minor on the way up and you'll play natural minor on the way down. So let's actually define these things right now. We're going to define the melodic minor, harmonic, and melodic minor. But I want to say that for anybody watching the live stream right now, for the next 24 hours, that my book is on sale, my Beato book, 20% off. Actually, anything is, everything in my channel is or everything on my, I see that my thing's flipped. I'm gonna flip it in a second here. Everything in my store is 20% off, and it's RB927, today's date. That's the code. Also, the Beato Club, you guys can join. You can find the information on my website. Okay, so everything's inverted. So here, I'm going to explain these things. I'm going to turn the camera around right now. Okay, so check me out here. Okay, so here. Now, I know that everything is correct. Okay, so I'm going to write down what the formulas are for these, okay? The formulas here, you guys can hear me okay, right? So the formulas for these scales are what we call derivative formulas, meaning what do you do to the major scale to get these three? Here we go. Okay, so the natural minor, I'm just going to write these down. Okay, so the natural minor scale, as we see here, hold on, I'll make the sound good again. There we go. Now you guys can hear me, right? Now it's backwards. Okay, let me figure out how to do this now. Let's do this like this. I'll tell you what. I don't have a lapel mic. Oh, I'm ticked right now. I'm going to explain it this way to you. Okay? Come on in here. Let's just forget that. We're going to go in the studio right now and talk about it. Okay. Here we go. This is a better way to do this anyways. Okay? You're going to hear the difference between the three. Okay? So there we go. I know you guys can hear me now. Okay. So when you talk about derivative versus learning by the steps, okay? Derivative is what do you do to a major scale to get this? And the thing about what you do to a major scale is that I think learning, if you learn the absolute way to do it, meaning what are the half steps and whole steps between, I think it's very hard to intellectualize that. So hold on, here we go. There we go. That's better. On the fly, right? Doing it. Better to hear the difference, exactly. Okay, so if I take C melodic minor, that's the easiest one, okay, because it's the closest to the major scale. So here's a C major scale. If I just change one note, I get the melodic minor scale. If I flat the third, so I change the E natural to E flat. That's melodic minor. Now in classical music, it goes up melodic minor because you're heading to the tonic, and then on the way down, it comes down natural minor. Okay, so well, let's talk about natural minor then. So natural minor is the also called the Aeolian mode. Okay, that has a flat 3, flat 6, and flat 7. Okay. Doesn't matter whether it's inverted or not. You just use your ear here. Okay. So the natural minor, flat 3, flat 7, and flat 6. Okay, so here's your flat 6. Here's your flat 7, your flat third. Okay, so that is going to happen if you're in a minor key. All right, so if I'm in the key of C minor, that means I'm really in C natural minor typically. Okay, so your chords are going to be, your one chord's going to be major, your your one chord's going to be minor. Okay, so you got C minor. Then if you build the 2 chord, you'd go is diminished, so D diminished. Your 3 chord is major. Your 4 chord is minor. Your 5 chord is minor. Okay. Your 6 chord is major, and your 7 chord is major. So that's when you start getting chord progressions. If you're going from C minor, A flat major, B flat major, C minor, okay? Anytime you hear that kind of a progression that actually lands on C minor or starts on C minor, and you have these changes like A flat major, B flat major, C minor, that's how you know you're in a minor key, okay? That 6, 7, 1 kind of progression, okay? The melodic minor is a little bit trickier. Okay, so the melodic minor, I did a video on melodic minor yesterday, so it's got a totally different construction and usage. It's actually, out of the 3, natural, melodic, and harmonic minor, it's the least common. It's really used in jazz more than anything. And people use it in things like film scoring. But you'll get chords in melodic minor. If you hear chords like that, that's called a minor major 7. That would be C minor major 7. Now this chord also happens in the key in C harmonic minor. Okay, but this is the kind of scale that you would use if you're a jazz musician and you're improvising over. You get modes from this scale, like the Mixolydian sharp 11. That's the 4th mode of it, or altered dominant. That's one of the things I played in my video yesterday. I put G altered dominant, which comes from A flat melodic minor. Okay, so the modes of the melodic minor are melodic minor, Dorian flat 2, Lydian augmented is the 3rd mode, Mixolydian sharp 11, Mixolydian flat 6, Locrian natural 2, and altered dominant. Okay, altered dominant is also called superlocrian or diminished whole tone. If I were to play a C altered dominant scale, that sounds like this. Okay, that's used over a C7 sharp 9 sharp 5. Okay, that's really, you hear that in jazz a lot, but it can also be used in modern classical music, depending on the depending on what you're writing, because you'll hear people like Thomas Newman or John Williams or James Newton Howard, people like that will use these kind of modes, or they'll use modes of the melodic minor scale. Now the harmonic minor scale, You'll hear guys like Yngwie Malmsteen, for example, a guitar player, that would use the harmonic minor scale. A lot of the neoclassical metal guitar players in their soloing will use the melodic or the harmonic minor scale. Now, the harmonic minor scale has two flats in relation to the major scale. It's got a flat third and a flat sixth. So because of that, you have this. Okay. And you get that augmented second between the flat six and the major seven, okay? That gives you a very particular sound. Some people call it a, Spanish sound or Arabic sound, right? Listen to it again. Okay? That particular scale actually is when you're in a minor key and you have a minor 2-5-1, for example. You would typically hear that scale used as your 2-5-1. That's where you actually get a dominant 5 chord, okay? If I'm, I know it's going to be backwards. I'm playing on guitar here, so you can hear it on guitar for those of you that are guitar players, okay? So the difference between these scales, here, hold on, do this. Hold on one second here. There we go. Oh, okay, so. Okay, so I know it's going to be left-handed, but it doesn't matter because it's really the sound. Oh, by the way, this is actually the easiest way to do it is I have mugs with all the formulas for all the modes. This is the Melodic Minor mug. It's for sale in my store. And this is the Harmonic Minor mug. It gives you the formulas for all the scales. Okay? So if I'm playing a C harmonic minor scale, I get this kind of a sound. Okay? That sound is you get that harmonic, you get that diminished sound in it. Okay, so that is, it sounds like Malmsteen, exactly. That's where that scale comes in. That's the harmonic minor scale. The melodic minor scale is like this. That gives you that minor major 7. Okay, that's, I'd use over a minor major 7th chord. The natural minor scale gives you the Aeolian sound. It has a flat 6. Sorry. So how do you actually use these different things? Well, typically, if I'm improvising, for example, I will use all 3 scales, depending on what the chord progression is. If I'm playing a chord, so I will use these modes, all 3 of these different scales I could use them in the same tune. If I was playing a tune like Blue Bossa, this is, starts on C minor 7. So. F minor 7. So the first scale is C Aeolian. second chord is F minor 7. So I'm going to use, I'll use Dorian there, or yeah, Dorian, F Dorian. Okay, but then you get to this chord, D minor 7 flat 5. Now, on that, many times I will use a mode of the melodic minor scale. So I'll use a Locrian natural 2. Has that natural second, because normally you would hear Locrian, but I like the sound of. Got that natural 2. Then here, when it goes to G altered, or G7 sharp 5, this is where your altered dominant. This is another mode of the melodic minor scale comes in. So that was my video yesterday, was on that. Then I'm back to Dorian, or to Aeolian. Aeolian's cool because it gives you that flat 6. This is where you get these kind of sounds. Is the Beato book all theory? I just saw that question. No, the Beato book it's actually a PDF, but here it is right here. So it's 461 pages. So it's got, the whole first part is all music theory, okay? How to build, it starts with intervals, chord scales, all this kind of stuff. And then in the back it has their etudes, things like that. How much is the book? Well, it's 20% off if you buy it today. Do you get a mirror with it? No, you don't get a mirror with it. I love that sound, that Dorian flat 2. And then altered. And then that's an Aeolian sound. There is not going to be a. Okay, so I know the guitar's backwards. I don't know why people get tweaked out by that. Let me tell you this. My first guitar teacher was actually left-handed. His name was Glenn. So I went into my guitar lessons with him, and I said, oh, this is kind of weird, right? And he goes, no, it's like looking in a mirror. So he was sitting across from me about 3 feet away, and both of our guitar necks were going the same way. And I thought, whoa, that's actually easier. It is actually easier to learn. So this Aeolian sound that I'm playing here, there's nothing better than being taught by a lefty. Whoever just said that, who just said that? Astley, is that right? That's exactly right. You know, it's interesting. If you think about the Beatles, I see that HK that you're saying there. If you think about all these huge bands, like the Beatles, 2 of the guys were left-handed in the Beatles. It was McCartney and Ringo were left-handed, both, right? You think about Hendrix, you think about Nirvana, Black Sabbath, all these bands had lefties in them. And I think that visually, having a lefty in the band was really interesting to see them play on stage. I think it actually created, seeing those instruments going on the outside, because you typically would have Lennon would be on one side, his guitar was going that way, and McCartney's bass was going that way. I did it on purpose. No. Actually, this is actually the YouTube app. Didn't used to work like this. The YouTube app was up until about 2 months ago worked fine and was normal, and then they changed it. It's actually a glitch in the app. So Aeolian. So harmonic minor you'll hear in this neoclassical guitar playing like Yngwie. That is really the sound of that. So all those diminished seventh arpeggios that you hear, that's that harmonic minor 7. That's that fifth mode. If you say the Phrygian major, for example, is. So if I'm playing over a G7 flat 9 chord, that's a Phrygian major sound. But you can really play it over a whole 2-5-1. In C minor, you can actually play that. So that is really the difference between those three scales. There's other minor scales, though, to know about. If you take the major scale and you take the 3 chords that come out of the major scales, you've got your 2 chord, your 3 chord, and 6 chord. So those modes are Dorian, Aeolian, and Phrygian. So Dorian and Aeolian are very commonly used. Phrygian is used if you're in the 3 chord of a key. So if I'm in the key of C major, I go to the 3 chord. So I'm C major. If I'm on the 6th chord, though, I'm going to play Aeolian. And the 6th chord would be something like if I'm doing something. So that would be, any of tune if you're thinking of like like Dream On, for example. Sing with me, sing for the years, sing for the laughter, sing for the tears. So that would be a song that is in F minor, okay, natural minor. Okay, so you've got the 1 chord, you have the 7 chord, and the 6 chord. But it really falls on the flat 7, so it'd be E flat, and then the flat 6. But you just would call this 1, 7, 6 in F minor. But the scale would be F minor, F natural minor, or F Aeolian. So that's how you use that scale. And Dorian is used typically if you're just playing over a straight minor chord. If you're playing jazz or playing rock, guys like Peter Frampton, for example, will use That's Aeolian, or that's a Dorian. You got that natural 6. There's your sound. Okay, that natural 6 is really a cool sound. Dorian is great. I love. An Aeolian. That has that flat 6. That natural 6. Ooh, I like that. Oh. That's Aeolian. This is I'm sorry. That's Dorian. This is sound. This is Aeolian. Aeolian. That would be a lick to demonstrate the difference between those two. So Dorian, Aeolian. I think that those are really, really cool. That's actually, I never played that. It's hard to play. That's cool. It's tight, right? I like that, Nicholas. Tight. Woo! That kills my hand. I gotta practice that. That's hard. I like that. I like using that natural 6 down low. I think it sounds killer. You can't, Ronnie, you can't really sweep pick that because it's going, I'm jumping over strings. Check it out. So I'm going from the A string down to the low E. Then I'm jumping over to the G. Woo, that's hard. See if I can do it with Aeolian. Wow, that's hard. Let's see. What was I doing? Oh, that's tricky. I like that. Anyways, those are hard to play, but those are the sounds that you want to get. That's why these different minor sounds are so cool. That harmonic minor sound is a great sound too. I mean, I use all three. I use all those modes. I mean, I use Phrygian. If I were to play, That's a great Phrygian. That's Phrygian. So I'm going 1, flat 2, 4, 5. 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 That flat 2 is really the sound of Phrygian. That's like flamenco kind of thing. Great over, that is great over minor chords. It's great over dominant chords. If you're playing the tune Spain by Chick Corea, then you go to the second chord, F sharp 7. That's great over F sharp sus. So I like to go between a lot of these different modal scales and kind of accentuate the differences between them, because I think that this is really what makes your playing really interesting, is if you can actually take advantage of the different sounds of these different modes, or these different scales. I call them modes, but they're really scales. Epiphany moment for me: use any mode for melody and just build chords for the mode. Exactly. What band is better than Radiohead? Probably the Beatles. Okay, sus chords, all genres. Let's see. What's up, Frank? If you mix them, how do you avoid? Well, you have to do them in groupings. Okay, so you just take these things and you play fragments of the sound. So when I was playing, when I was going between Aeolian and Dorian, I would play Aeolian for a minute, establish that sound, and then move to Dorian. So that's kind of how I think about playing between these. Ronnie just said it. It's colors. I mean, it's colors of these sounds. By the way, you can buy my book. You can buy any of the mugs here. This is how I make a living here, is actually through selling my Beato book, and that's how I make videos. The Schillinger system. Okay, somebody just asked about that. I have the books that one of my subscribers named George sent to me. Schillinger actually wrote a series of books that the Berkeley system is built on, okay? And it's pretty cool. Matter of fact, here's one of the books. It's a system of musical composition. Check this out. So one of my subscribers sent this to me. I know it's backwards here, but look at this thing. This is amazing. And he wanted me to make a video on this, okay? But it is unbelievably complicated, okay? It is, it's not complicated. It's just to make a book on this, or to make a video on a book, is really difficult. That is only one of 3 boxes of that book. There's 3 that are that thick, okay? Oh yeah, as far as my book is concerned, people that buy my book, like me, I didn't buy my book. I wrote my book, but I just had it printed at Staples and bound. I like having a physical book, but it's it adds so much to the cost of it and the difficulty of shipping it and stuff. How long will it take to incorporate, Nate says, this stuff into your playing? It depends on how much you're practicing, really. It's it takes time to kind of, you have to watch some of my videos on the modes. I've got videos on the Aeolian mode. I've got videos on the harmonic minor scale, on the melodic minor scale. And I really go into depth on the types of sounds that you can use in this. And those of you that's saying that it's way beyond your skill level, a lot of this stuff is learned, just you basically learn it in fragments where you pick up a little piece here. You may do something where you add a note to the pentatonic scale or something like that, right? And you say, okay, let's say, you're soloing, you say, well, if I'm playing a blues scale or something and I play, and I add this note here. So that note there is the sixth, okay? That's what gives you your Dorian sound, okay? So I've added that to the scale. Okay, now I can also add this note. Or let's see, I'll do something. I'd added this note. So I added that natural 9. But after I've added the 6th and the natural 9, I've got the Dorian scale. But you play it, you add those notes to the pentatonic scale, and then you get that sound. Now that sounds kind of like you're going to the 4 chord. Or so that's kind of how you start to learn these sounds. You're just adding notes to things that you know, and you build upon these things with your knowledge. So exactly, Nate, you just do it incrementally, just like I just did. You start with taking something that you know really well. You know the blues scale. And then I'm going to just add one note to it. I'm going to add that. Well, I added that 9th there. I've almost got the Dorian scale. I got one extra note to it. I'm going to add that note to it. Right? I love that, though, using all those notes. Anyways, it's all about the sound. It's not about how the guitar, what direction the guitar is going or anything. You close your eyes and you listen to it, because ultimately, this is all done through your ears, okay? It's all done through listening. So you always learn these things in your by ear first, and then you identify it with your brain about what it is. So I did this video the other day where I was talking about I was talking about using your inner ear to hear lines, but really what that is that you use your inner ear to hear things that you're going to play. And you have people like George Benson, for example, that will sing along with what he's going to play. Or, you know, you see a lot of guys actually will sing along with what they're playing, like Steve Vai sings along with what he's playing all the time. Or he'll hum along. He'll know the notes that he's playing. He knows when he's, you know, when he's going to go. So it's just about lost my voice there. David says, same way babies learn to speak. First, you don't understand it all. Little by little, you pick up more. That's exactly right. Babies learn speech by their ears. Well, their brains come pre-programmed with algorithms to pick up language. So that's why babies can learn, because they can hear, even though they don't know what the words are, they're able to detect where words begin and end, and then they start picking up little phrases. It's exactly the way you learn, or you should learn, how to improvise. You just learn it in little fragments, and you should develop your ideas in little fragments, right? If I play, so I'm hearing these things in my head, and then I'm just transferring them to the guitar. And you learn to play things in phrases. Just don't run a bunch of notes together. Think about it. Think about where your voice, you know, it's funny. I was doing an Instagram Live last night. I'm going to totally go off here. And I was doing this Periphery song. I don't know if you guys know Periphery. They're an awesome band. I interviewed Misha, who's the guitar player in the band, and I was doing a transcription of one of their songs for a video. It's a song called Absalom. It's on their last record. And it starts on the note C, and it goes like, dun da da dum ba dum bum 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 bum. It's an incredibly cool lick, right? But it's very hard to sing, because it has all these ghost notes in the bass part. The bass starts out the song. And the bass player, Nolly, he does all these ghosts, all these things, and he does the left-hand muting. So he's... I can't do it on this. The string's so loose, there's no tension on it when I tune it down to C. But it's like to actually, for me to sing it, so hard to do for me. I actually have to practice I have to actually practice those things to sing it. Wait. Woo! That is hard. It's actually, somebody said it's like Rush. It's actually like, kind of like In the Dead of Night by UK. Any of you that don't know UK, which UK was the best prog band of all time, but you don't know that their first record is like the best prog record of all time, and has Alan Holdsworth playing guitar on it. It's unbelievable. They have a song called In the Dead of Night that you should check out. It's in 7. The main riff is in 7. A record came out in 1978, but Holdsworth is in the band. It's Alan Holdsworth, Bill Bruford on drums, Eddie Jobson, and John Wetton. And it's an amazing record. But that reminds me of that Periphery. You know, when I hear stuff like that, you know, I was talking to a buddy of mine. We were talking about Periphery, about this particular song, and how incredibly advanced that is. The progressive rock bands like Periphery, or people like Tosin Abasi. A lot of the gent bands, the prog metal bands, Meshuggah, have incredibly sophisticated rhythms, harmonies, meaning chord progressions. So they've got really sophisticated rhythms, really sophisticated chord progressions, and they have all these different modulations, everything. It's really, really fascinating. In some ways, it's more sophisticated than a lot of the old progressive bands. I'm going to talk about that actually when I'm actually doing a What Makes This Song Great with Misha. He's going to be, I'm doing a Periphery What Makes This Song Great. He's going to be in the video with me. That'll be out next week. So anyways, if you want to support my channel, everything is 20% off right now. You can get the Beato book, PDF, not this one. You got to print it out. RB927. If you want to get the mugs like this so you can drink your coffee in the morning and you want to learn your scales, you learn them like this. I will do King Crimson, Weasel. I will do a King Crimson video. I've done so many old bands. I'm trying to do some current bands, okay? That's why I did the Chainsmokers. You know, I did Adele. I'm trying to do I don't want to do so many bands from the 60s or bands from the 70s, from the 90s, stuff like that. I'm trying to get the whole, you know, because there's so much music out there. And a lot of people don't go back and listen to The Police or listen to Pearl Jam or listen to Nirvana or listen to Led Zeppelin. They don't know those bands. They know Periphery. They don't know Meshuggah maybe. They might know Steven Wilson, but they don't know Simon and Garfunkel. They might know Deep Purple, but they don't know, Animals as Leaders. So, it's what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get, I saw Rosalita. They might not know Bruce Springsteen, or they might not know James Taylor, but they know, Lana Del Rey. So it's kind of, you got to learn it all, really, if you want to have you want to see where music has come from and where music is going to. Okay, you guys are amazing. Give me a thumbs up. Let's see it. Let's see it. Kings of Leon. I will do a Kings of Leon. I have a Greta Van Fleet video I'm going to put out too. I've got an idea. It's not a What Makes This Song Great. It's actually more of a conceptual video about it. Blue Cheer. Love Blue Cheer. You guys are the best. Discount code RB927. Not just 927, Aaron. RB927. You guys are amazing. Hit the like button. And support my channel through the Beato Club. Beato Club, everybody. It's basically, it's artist funding, I call it. It's like Patreon, but better. You guys are awesome. Thank you.